Hi everybody, today I wanted to bring you a video on Wantless, Solace at World's End, a new tactical RPG in early access on Steam from Droprate Studio and published by Twin Sails Interactive. Specifically, I want to share 5 reasons I think this is a must-play, even in early access, particularly for fans of tactical RPGs. Before we jump into those 5 reasons though, let's briefly cover what Wantless is about. We play as Iris, one of the last transposers, doctors who delve into their patients' minds to alleviate their torments, erase memories, and more. We will venture forth across the ghost metropolis, delving into patients' minds and helping them cope with a dying world. Now, just before jumping into the 5 reasons I think Wantless is a must-play, I want to let you know that I did receive a key for this one from the publisher, but as always, the following are my own thoughts on the game. So, first on the list is the sheer amount of customization available. Most RPGs will give you a specific set of skills to choose from, or just assign you a skill at each new level, but in Wantless, you are able to forge your own skills. Using the Neural Forge in-game, you can use the forms, effects, and efficiencies you've collected to create your own skills. Forms determine whether a skill will be melee, ranged, AoE, or a mix of these, while effects are the damage type, buff, debuff, or healing that a skill will do, and finally, efficiencies will determine how much a skill costs and how long of a cooldown it will have. Using this system, you can also create skills that have multiple effects, like damaging and applying a debuff at the same time, while also having an area of effect. I'm only about 6 hours into the game so far, and I've come across more possibilities than I can count. Adding to this ability customization, though, is also your character customization with the mind tree. This skill tree has 4 major branches delving into a melee focus, ranged focus, status effect focus, and even a discipline focus that will increase the power of skills you can equip. So not only can you customize your skills, but you can then pick passive buffs from the skill tree to amplify these skills even more toward whatever build you're working toward. Wantless really sets itself up to be a build crafter's dream. Now for reason number 2, we have the unique tactic system this game uses. First off, it's a bit strange in that you only have one character. Now, you can acquire summons to use later on, but generally you are a lone character on the map. The compensation for this is the action point system. You see, as you are entering a patient's mind, their mind reacts only when you perform actions or do too much. Each enemy will gain 1 action point to use for every action point you use during your turn. So if you only use 2 action points to move up 2 spaces and then end your turn, then enemies won't be able to do much either. But if you charge straight in using all 8 action points, the enemies may get several attacks off on you. This system encourages you to consider whether each action taken is really worth the cost. There is a positive, however, to using a lot of action points to try and kill multiple enemies, as each enemy you kill grants you 1 more bonus action point. So if you plan a move well, you can wipe out whole groups of enemies very quickly. So then this action point system also comes into consideration when creating new skills, as you have to consider if making a skill with a 6 action point cost is going to be worth its effects. Another consideration is moving stealthily. You see, when you first enter a room, normally the enemies are unaware of your presence and you can move around freely as long as you stay under a certain amount of action points each turn, unless of course you attack an enemy or interact with anything on the map. On the enemy's turns, they may move about though, so you have to be careful where you move to, because if they happen to move next to you, then they will see you. Moving carefully before combat can set you up for a strong opening move and make the rest of the battle much easier. There are even skills to pick up on the mind tree that will increase the damage you do when you're undetected, giving you a real assassin vibe. In addition to the action point system though, we also have several terrain effects, obstacles, line of sight, enemy abilities, and more to consider when planning our moves. I think Wantless gives us tactical turn-based combat that is much different from other games in recent memory. Moving on to the 3rd reason to play Wantless, and that is the challenging gameplay. More specifically, how pushing your luck increases the challenge, but also the rewards. You see, as you enter into your patient's minds, you may choose to explore their psyche for a bit, rather than just going straight for your objective. Doing this causes instability, which buffs enemy attacks and resistance, but also increases the rewards you get when you do complete the main objective. Exploring can also lead to new items or skills that can be found within the mission itself. There are limits to how much we can explore though, as if a patient's instability maxes out, our mission will fail and we will miss out on all the mission's rewards, though we do keep anything we picked up within the mission itself. The instability we gain from exploring is permanent and cannot be brought back down, but instability gained in other ways, such as an unstable memory destroying itself, can be countered. Gaining adjacent to memories will allow us to preserve them, gaining a temporary boost such as healing or more action points, and some resources for use in the shop. Wantless does present a good challenge, and I really like this system of pushing your luck. I've failed multiple times because I went exploring even when I knew I shouldn't have, all because I got greedy for an extra reward. The fourth reason to play Wantless is its unique, dark, and thoughtful setting. As I've mentioned on the channel before, I really like apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic settings, and this one stands out with a very different reason for the apocalypse. Essentially, with the advent of transposing, most people have chosen to become wantless, removing all wants and desires from their minds and living in cradles. The result is a collapsing society where very few have decided to stay and continue striving for something more. So as one of the last transposers, you deal with the moral choices of helping people with their fears, regrets, and disappointments, but also, for some, the decision to become wantless. The story is a very interesting take on an apocalypse and the human psyche. Now, as I've said, I haven't had a chance to put a lot of time into this one yet, but I did have a brush with a mysterious and frightening entity while in a patient's mind that I'm sure I'll see again. This has me primed for what comes next in the story. Finally, the last reason to play Wantless is the great mix of procedural and handcrafted levels. You see, each normal transposition you do can be chosen from a list of procedurally generated patients, and the world of their minds will also be procedurally generated. Now, this procedural generation is decent, I'd say, as several hours in, I'm still seeing new things as my character's level goes up. However, aside from the normal procedurally generated patients and maps, there are special patients that can be found in each area of the world map, and these patients have their own unique stories, requests, and minds. The maps associated with these patients are handcrafted and present new and unique challenges. So the combination of procedural generation and handcrafted levels gives a nice balance of levels to farm for better gear and skills, while also providing dedicated and interesting story levels to keep the game fresh and interesting. Wantless is available in early access on Steam for $17.99, and there is also a demo available if you want to try the game out first. I'll be interested to see how this one develops, but so far, I'm having a great time playing it. For another interesting spin on tactics RPGs, check out this video here on Gloomhaven. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and keep on gaming.